NBC News now calling GOP control of the Senate.
That's with the victory of Deb Fischer, the incumbent in Nebraska, who was given quite the run for her money from an independent there, Dan Osborne, who said he wouldn't caucus with either side. But it went down to the wire. But in the end, the Nebraska Senate goes back to the Republicans, and that gives a leg up to Republicans and the gains they need to take control of the Senate.
They should have won it based on how the map looks, and it obviously we are now projecting that they have it here. You've got that Nebraska pickup. Montana is still hanging out there. I'm also looking at some of these other races that are very, very close, where there are Democratic incumbents in the Senate. So this is significant, obviously, for the balance of power in Congress and for whoever ends up in the White House, especially if it is former President Trump. A lot of eyes are going to be on what the House does, where the House goes here, with that landscape looking very different, of course, those critical races.
Why don't we ask Ryan Nobles, our colleague who is here somewhere?
He covers it.
He covers Capitol Hill. Right, what we know now is the Republicans have control of the Senate. What we don't know is the margin, and you still have a very vulnerable Democratic seat out west in Montana. We wait for Michigan. We wait for Wisconsin. What are you hearing?
Yeah, Savannah, I think of all the outcomes that happened here tonight, this is probably the least surprising. Republicans felt very confident about their chances of winning back the Senate, just given the map. There were 10 competitive Senate races across the country. 8 of them were held by incumbent Democrats. And the places where they were battling out these races were in places where the elections were expected to be very competitive. And we see that playing out here in a big way tonight. I do think perhaps the most interesting dynamic that's now playing out at this hour is that where Senate Republicans were confident of winning the majority, but they were very much talking to us about the idea of 50+1. They just wanted 51 seats to make sure that they would have the Senate majority leader, that they could control the legislation that came on and off the Senate floor. They're now talking about perhaps significant margins. They are now looking at that blue wall the same way that we are looking at the blue wall in terms of the race for president, and seeing real opportunities for pickups in places like Wisconsin, in places like Michigan, in places like Pennsylvania. These were areas where Democrats were hopeful because they had strong incumbents there, or they had strong challengers, people running in open seats like in Michigan, who they thought they'd be able to run ahead of Kamala Harris, even if the race was close at the presidential level. Donald Trump's margins seem to be bringing those Republican candidates along with him in states along that blue wall. And then don't forget, there's 2 other Senate seats that are still on the balance as well. I know you already talked about Montana, which Republicans feel very confident about, but we also have Nevada and Arizona. Arizona Republicans were not that bullish on. They did not have high hopes for Kari Lake, the candidate there. The scenario in which they thought Kari Lake could win is the scenario that we see playing out right now. And that was a big Donald Trump victory that would bring her across the finish line. So there's no doubt that there are a lot of very happy people in the Senate Republican caucus. And this is going to be a very different looking Senate Republican caucus, one that might look a lot more like the House Republican caucus that we've covered over the past couple of election cycles. So there's no doubt that there's going to be a lot of change in Washington as a result of what we see playing out here.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or follow us on social media.